Okay, I'm just going to go back a step in this video, back to doing the footings for the columns. I've erased my footings. An easier way to insert the footings in the columns is to open up, instead of going to the floor plan footing level, open up the structural plan, go to footings. This is what we want to see. This is what I was looking for. So now let's go to the footing button. So under the structure tab, isolated, there's the footing we want, 857 by 200. And now simply click and insert a footing on every single column. Hit escape twice, check the 3D view, there we go. Now, the next step that we want to do is we want to create, instead of hitting the isolated foundation button, we want to hit the wall foundation. This is a bearing footing. So skip the instruction number 10, I believe. Architectural walls, select the foundation wall, modify. Yeah, do not do step 10. Instead, do what I'm about to show you. So go to the structure button, wall. Now there's a couple here. These are all too big for us, so we're going to change it. Let's go to retaining footing, 600 by 300 by 300. No, let's go to the 900 by 300. Hit edit type, duplicate, and we want this one to be 600 wide because we want it to stick out 200 millimeters on each side of the wall, and we want it to be 200 deep. So 600 by 200. The width, again, 600. Foundation thickness, 200. We're going to hit OK. There we go. And now if I just hover close to these walls and click on them, it'll add that footing for me. So now I'm going to rotate and do it again. So I've got this wall selected. Oops, I want it to be 600 by 200. I click on my wall, it adds the footing. Click on the other wall, adds the footing. So now we've got all the footings inserted on our house. Okay, let's move on to step 11. Next, we'll make footings for the columns. Go to the structure tab. Wait, we've done this. Okay, not the best tutorial. Okay, next we'll make ceilings. Go to level 1, ceiling plan, and select ceilings. Specify the generic ceilings, and 600 by 1200 millimeter grid ceilings is shown above. Okay. So I guess it's saying it wants grid ceilings 600 by 1200 in this side, and we should rotate and align them all. Okay, no problem. So let's go to here. Let's go to floor plan level. Actually, no. Let's go to ceiling plan level 1. Okay, it's going to look a lot like our floor plan, but it's going to have the ghosted outline of the roof over top. And I guess we're doing our ceiling plan over here. Now this is getting kind of annoying, this roof. Just remember, you can always go to hide element. Okay. Now we go to architecture, ceiling. So we got a couple of options here. 600 by 1200 is what we want. That's the T-bar ceiling. This is a pretty gross ceiling to put into a house, but whatever, as long as we learn how to use these tools. So I just clicked into that area. It recognizes it as a room. I'm going to click into this area because it recognizes it as a room, here and here. And I think that's all it called for. Oh no, it also wants, does it want one in there? I don't know. No, it doesn't. Okay, so now I'm going to hit escape, and I want these things to align. So this one is going vertically, whereas these are going horizontally. So what I'm going to do is click this one. This is not working out the way I hoped. I wonder if I need to reset this. Strange, what happened here? So let's see what happened. I'm going to hide this again. Hide element. Okay, we do have our ceilings in here, so that worked. So let's go back to ceiling level 1. I thought it would let me rotate this somehow. Let's see what it's saying. Rotate and align the ceiling grid as shown. Usually there's a little bit of an arrow or something that pops up when you select it, and that lets you turn it around, but let's try something else. Edit boundary, we don't want that. Nope. Let's close this. Okay. So okay, we can start doing some small things. I have to figure out how to rotate this, but to align these grid lines to each other, simply click one of them and drag it. And it should move. Now there's a better way of doing this. It should be an align button somewhere. There we go. Align this to this. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now I'm going to click this, and it's always aligns to the first one you select. So if I click this one and then this one, it's going to move the second one. So now if I click this one and this one, it'll move that one. So these three are now aligned. That's looking good to me. Problem is with this one, we need to rotate it. So let's, you know what, let's just try to rotate it on our own. So we're going to click the rotate button. And we rotated it. Okay, just to show you how I did that, I just undid it. So I'm going to click the rotate button. Pick a line. I don't think it matters which one you pick. Hit enter. Okay, now this doesn't mean anything. This is just your starting or your reference point. So you may as well pick it up top. And now you want to rotate 90 degrees to here. And you can see there's a little, at that arc, I can't really show you with my mouse, but there's a 90 degree number indicated at that arc. So let's click there. Perfect. Now we want to align this grid with this grid. So let's take the align button, align this to, let's say, that. And I think that's the best we can do. We can't really align it to all of them because there's walls in between that's separated, and that offsets the grid. So this is the best we can do for now, and we're going to leave it at that. Let's go back to our tutorial. Insert a 600 by 1200 Trofer rectangular light and use the align command to locate the light relative to the grid. Okay, so we're going to go back to architecture. I hit escape here just to get out of this. I believe for lights we go to component and place a component. And here we can click and pick all kinds of lights. So we want a rectangular light. We wanted a Trofer light. Trofer light 600 by 1200. Let's pick one of these. And just pop it in there. Doesn't matter where. Hit escape. What did the instructions say? Use the align command to locate the light relative to the grid. So where do they want us to locate it? 3 down and 2 over. Oh, I see what they did. So they aligned these little grids to the main grid. So we can do that too. So, oops, sorry. I'm going to go back to here. And I'm going to click on this just so that the align button pops up. It takes me to modify. And I'm going to click align. I want this line to be this. I want this little line to respect this big line. So I click that. And I want to do it again. So I click the big line and then the small line that I want to align to it, and that fixes that. So now, actually this looks a lot better now that we followed the example. So this grid is much more structured, and we want this light, let's also use the align command on it. So we want this line to be square with that line, this line to be square with that line. It's a little bit off, as you can see, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Copy additional 600 rectangular lights and place a flat round ceiling light as shown. So we want one flat ceiling light there. So let's see how we can copy this. Select this, right click, finish selection. So I'm going to do the same kind of trick I do in AutoCAD. Instead of clicking on the light itself where there's a whole bunch of things to snap to, I'm going to snap to the grid. And I want it moved 2 over. There we go. And now I'm going to hit enter. Oops, no, I'm going to hit escape twice. Copy, select one, select the, select one, hold down control, select the other one, enter. And now again, I'm going to go by the grid. And I guess it only lets me copy once. So I'm going to hit copy again. Hold down control, 1, 2, 3, 4, hit enter. I want that there. This seems like a lot of lights. How many lights do these guys have? Oh, they have 3 spaces between each light. Okay. So I'm gonna hit escape, delete this one, delete this one. I'm gonna hit the move button, hold down control, enter, and again I'm gonna snap to the grid. Move this down 2 full spots. Move button. And move it down 2 full spots. This is a bit out of line, so I'm going to grab the align button. Move my lights back in. Okay, this is getting a bit messy here, but anyway, you get the idea of how to insert lights now. So let's go back to the example. They want one more set of lights right here. Copy, hold on the control button to get multiple ones, hit enter, and let's copy them to here. Now that's not the greatest lighting pattern, but at least we now know how to insert lights, and that was the main objective here. So component, place a component. Now we want a circular light in the ceiling. Oh, that's right. So we don't have a ceiling here yet. We haven't put a T-bar ceiling in yet. So what we need to do is go back to ceiling. And we're going to pick a compound ceiling. No, we don't want a grid. We want a generic or a gypsum board on metal stud or a generic ceiling. Let's go for a generic ceiling for now. So I'm going to click right there. I'm going to click on the other rooms as well to give them ceilings as well. Now I'm going to go back to the component and drop a ceiling in, drop a light in right there. Okay, and that's it. And so now I got the kids starting to rock and roll, so I'm going to be right back with the next lesson.